Welcome to Global Integrity Networking, an international community created to connect, position, and elevate professionals in the health, wellness, and aesthetics industries on a global scale. This platform has been designed to bring together top professionals, experts, and entrepreneurs, forming an interdisciplinary network focused on growth, collaboration, and the global impact of integral beauty. Global Integral Beauty is presented by Dallas Bailey, a registered nurse with an MBA in marketing, a New York State certified medical esthetician, a specialist in laser skin radiation treatments with over 20 years of experience, creator of effective systems to attract and retain clients, an international speaker in marketing and personal brand positioning, host of #Time with Dallas, which has interviewed leading professionals in the industry, best-selling author of Global Experts in Integral Beauty with 4 published editions, creator of the Global Integral Beauty Positioning Method, and founder and CEO of Renew Aesthetics Medical Spa, Dallas Beauty Savvy, Global Integral Beauty, and Miss Global Integral Beauty. Through Global Integral Beauty, we offer exclusive memberships to elevate your personal brand, strategic networking events, participation in our annual international conference, nominations for the Global Integral Beauty Awards, feature opportunities in Global Integral Beauty magazine, and access to a global network of leaders and experts. Welcome to Global Integral Beauty Networking, an exclusive opportunity to position yourself, expand your influence, and become a global leader in the integral beauty industry as part of a movement that is transforming the industry worldwide.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for all our attendance for our February networking events. This is the best time for all the professionals in the health, wellness, and aesthetics. We are working from 2020 to 2026 every single month to do networking. This is a private event. Every month we just select a small group in English and a small group in Spanish, and we can discuss together with new professional every month, new professional in the industry. We invite them to be a keynote speaker and share with all their name and expertise. The topic today is going to be the science of emotional impact of the skin and professional aesthetics.
My name is Laura. I'm 38 years old. I'm an executive. I love what I do. And for a long time, I thought I had everything under control. But a few months ago, my skin began to change. Acne breakouts I hadn't had since my teenage years. Rosacea that appeared without warning. Increasingly pronounced dark circles. My face lost its radiance, and my skin constantly felt dehydrated. I tried everything within my reach. Topical treatments, monthly facials, supplements, premium skincare routines, and nothing truly worked.
Sana, as an oncology training licensed esthetician, I would like to know a little bit about this case. With your oncology aesthetic experience, how will you treat Laura's sensitive skin in a safe way while reducing inflammation and helping the skin recover step by step?
So with my experience in oncology, I would treat Laura's skin just as if it's compromised. I would focus on restoring her skin barrier first. So the first thing we need to do is, if she's on any actives, we would basically cease fire. We would go down to strictly the basics with a cream-based cleanser and then a barrier repair moisturizer that has ceramides and niacinamides in there. And this isn't me, giving up on the skin, but with the assessment, it's basically giving her skin the space to remember how to be skin, because we know the skin does regenerate every 28 days. So we want to start there by stripping it down to the bare minimum, and then we are rebuilding that foundation. So once the inflammation is calm again, then we can start introducing squalanes and omega-rich oils for the barrier. But my goal will be to create a safe environment for her skin to start repairing itself first.
Question is, in Laura's case, where acne and inflammation are caused by stress, how will you create a corrective skincare plan that thrives the root cause without over-treating the skin?
So pretty much in what I would do on an acne standpoint, typically acne is driven by stress and elevated a lot of times with the cortisol. So typically we try not to, what we would say, chase the breakout. Instead, we want to create the environment that is actually growing in. And so I would typically go in by starting with reducing it and reducing her internal and topical triggers before introducing any type of aggressive actives. So being able to reduce neural inflammation and supporting her cellular repair and being able to stabilize her oil production. So probably starting off, especially if she's a new client, treating her with gentle enzymatic resurfacing instead of aggressive acids like glycolic acid or salicylic acid. And then doing a lot of cell communicating ingredients instead of stripping agents. So we don't want anything that's going to be drying, but we want more so to help rebuild that skin barrier while we're actually taking away some of the oil, but not making her skin too dry to where it's not allowing any nutrients to actually kind of help the barrier stay intact. And then most importantly, we want to start with the sebum regulation without any type of barrier disruption. And if we decide we want to, depending on how long that takes, then at that point, towards the end of her treatment series would be for us to go in with anti-inflammatory actives and making sure that her cell turnover is controlled and giving her microbiome a lot of support.
How can a safe, calm, and emotional supportive treatment space and help improve the skin of the patients with chronic stress and silent anxiety?
So in oncology aesthetics, we basically say that the body remembers our trauma. So our tissues are remembering the trauma that we go through. So Laura's nervous system is on high alert constantly with her job, with everything she has going on, not sleeping well. And so my goal would technically be to create the space to where Laura could calm down, where she could not think about everything she has going on at once, where she can actually rest. So my treatment room would be warm for her. The lighting would be good. We would have nice grounding music and just create a sensory experience to let her nervous system know that I can just be in this moment right now and not stress, because the biggest thing with Laura is her environment is what is causing a lot of her skin's reactions. And so if we can control her environment in that moment, that will really, really help, because it's physical, it's emotional, it's all of those things. So not being in fight or flight mode during that time. The touch is very healing, so we would do nice and slow, gentle movements to just help her calm down and overall create that safe environment for Laura.
From my point of view, it's very important just always to listen also the patient too, because sometimes it's the emotional, the stress they develop every single day. They develop the probably the sensitive is like double than the real, but it's very important when they come in through us and we have the space and the time to listen to them and also educate them and explain to them how it's going to be the process. It is very important in this kind of this patient. So I would like to hear now, Artisha, is the second question is, how do you combine corrected treatment with barrier repair, hydration, and long-term skin strength in patients with high cortisol and weak skin function?
Yes. So starting off with, for those who don't know, that if the barrier stays compromised, inflammation and breakouts will continue to cycle no matter how strong the treatment is. So what my treatment philosophy typically is for, number one, we need to stabilize. We want to stabilize the skin and the skin barrier. We want to rebuild the lipid function. We want to reduce the tool, her transepidermal water loss. We want to support her immune response in the skin. And I know this because I do suffer from an autoimmune disease with Crohn's disease. And and that gives me, sometimes with adrenal insufficiency, my cortisol levels get extremely low. And then there are times when they get extremely high, and that is what causes hyperpigmentation, discoloration, and ultimately an inflammatory breakout. But this is where I would focus on hydration. That actually retains in her skin, and not just the humectants that we would place on with serums and a moisturizer, but more so barrier supportive ingredients to kind of help with the anti-inflammatory signaling. Next, we will probably go in with regulating her oil production that we talked about in the first question, kind of keeping that regular and improving her cellular turnover gently. A lot of times I have to explain to clients that correction is layered. It's never truly dumped on, because we don't want to make a harsh decision that could cause even more work, not just for me as an esthetician, but for them as a client, because they typically are already stressed, as Laura is. She's already stressed, so we don't want to add and do too much too soon. So I try to tell them it's, steady wins the race. We don't want to run it too fast. And then in our phase 3, we would strengthen long term. This is where her acne freedom happens. We shift from stop the breakout, and then what we go to is making the skin resilient so that it stops reacting to stress. So just as Zana was saying, we want to give her options of, hey, let's try introducing sound healing, sound bathing. Let's try introducing yoga. Let's think about drinking hot tea in the morning, having things that's going to help regulate the inflammatory markers inside of her body first is ultimately what's going to give her the great glow and stop the breakouts on the outside. And then towards the end, we go in, of course, continuing with her microbiome support and collagen and repair signaling, because we know that stress can typically start to make wrinkles happen and to make the elastin fibers not look so great. So a lot of times, if you're not getting sleep, if you're not eating properly, when you're stressed, it ages you. So at this point, now that we've regulated the breakouts, we've stopped all of that, now it's time for us to rebuild Laura's face back up, rebuild her skin, make her look very youthful and more glowing.
Thank you, Altisha. I'm agree with you 100%. I think that this is very important for all the profession in the health, wellness, and aesthetic to visualize how important it is to working together, especially multidisciplinary. For example, in this case, we notice that it's not only skin, we notice it is something inside too. So it means like we need to work as a thing. We have to refer her or contact her some psychologist, like some stream or something like maybe she needed. Because remember, years ago, long time, nobody was thinking that the psychology was necessary, but today it's necessary. You don't need to get like mental problem and very bad problem just to go there. It's good to have therapy. It's good to have, because we sometimes we are, overworked, and some emotional problem, family, work, whatever can happen, and it's going to immediately affect our skin, our life immediately. Yeah. But as a skincare expert, that's the idea, to have the option to work all together, and that's why we have this space. That's why we invite doctor, dermatology, medical aesthetic, esthetician, psychology, nutrition, because usually always is a support. This is the only short space that we can invest our time here, because I doing from 2020 and this is 2026. And you don't have an idea every single month how I learning from all of you, but also how I connecting everyone, and also how we can refresh all our, year experience. But every single day I know something new. That's the most important. But I really appreciate. I would like to hear about Artisha. What kind of, did you have some personal, or you have a special protocol that you're running for this kind of case? or you manage as individual protocol according to the skin needs?
Typically, I would, but over the last few months, with me doing case studies, I happen to have such an amazing company, Neogenesis, who supports me and supported my case studies for the skin games. And they're one of the only skincare companies that does not have any contraindications for clients. And so for me, that's amazing because, like I said, I have a few autoimmune diseases, and then I do have oncology patients as my clients. And so, including my dad, who is battling prostate cancer. And so I was excited to get this company and be able to use their products. So they do have products that are based on the stem cells or the molecules of the stem cells that we already make in our bodies. So it's just giving us that extra boost of using what we have already and healthily internalizing that. And then that ultimately is what helps create and support our skin barrier and rebuilding the strength of our skin and treating inflammation at the same time. So I specifically would probably start with some recovery cream from them with her, as well as a nice cleanser, a gentle cleanser that they have that does not strip the skin barrier, but actually helps promote the skin barrier health and help regenerate her cell turnover. So that, like I said, we don't want to immediately just stop the breakout. We want this to be longevity. So we want to figure out what the problem is, how we can stop that, and therefore allow her to have a very successful treatment, not just for 1 month, but for lifelong.
So how you can manage that? You have a specific line, or you try with different company, or you have your own protocol? How do you work with that, the skincare after treatment?
So I do have a specific line that I use for my oncology patients. What I am learning as I'm constantly working with them is with my regular clients who have more sensitive skin, I think about, well, if my oncology patients can't have this certain ingredient, maybe this client shouldn't have that ingredient as well. So I think it's just helped me develop as a esthetician as a whole, working with compromised skin and partnering with hospitals and their treatment plan altogether.
How was your experience today? And tell me just in a few words, when you received the invitation, what was the expectation that you have when we sent you the invitation?
I was shocked. I had to read the email, I think like 3 times. And I was like, do I respond? Like, are they literally asking me? And then I reached back out and I was like, little old me. But, being in this industry and it's been here and it's only been 5.5 years, sometimes when things like this happen, it's such a surprise, but it lets you know that your work just doesn't go unnoticed. So it makes me want to work harder. And I always tell my students and even my other SC friends, let's never look at likes. Let's never look at views. Let's just look at the work, and someone will literally see your work. You just have to stay genuine in it. And over the last few years, I've worked extremely hard to go below skin deep so that I can help my clients and, have a genuine, great brand as an acne expert. And so to have this opportunity it was so amazing, and I'm so grateful and thankful, and it just lets me know that I'm being seen. Thank you so much, Dallas.
I would like to hear, Sana, about your experience the same. How do you feel when you get the invitation? How was the expectation when you get the invitation?
Thank you. Honestly, I was shocked to get the invitation. I was excited. I was nervous. I never saw myself speaking publicly because I despise it. But I'm very grateful for the opportunity. And the biggest thing is knowing that somebody does have to reach back. I do believe you have to continue to reach back and give back to those who come behind. So I honor you for doing that. I appreciate you for that. And I've always led with, I'm gonna always be a student. I'm never gonna stop learning. This is gonna be my passion. So I'm just very grateful to be here right now, because I didn't even think I would be in this field, but I love it. I'm rebranding here soon, so some new things are coming. So I'm really excited about it.